ancient ruins. Cryo-hnologies. Details. In ages past, humans used to assemble and work in places like these. Now all that remains of their civilization are the monsters that dwell within these haunted halls. Beware, for Draugr and other monsters are often found within. The building itself was old, but sturdy. In places behind holes in the building's exterior, exposed like old bones, steel beams could be seen. It had none of the wear or rot he'd come across in some of the other old human buildings. Zander clenched his fist and gathered his courage. He passed through the opening into what had once been a lobby. Once inside, he saw half-melted plastic tables and furniture warped from time that had been thrown about as if something had set into them in a rage. In many places, huge gouges could be seen where claws had dug into the wall, leaving ugly scars. "Come on, Rocktooth, let's go," he said, with a whisper as he glanced back to look at his summoned companion to see what the holdup was. "Ah, yeah, my bad." Zander saw the golem was too big to come in. Zander sighed and walked back to poke at the magical core in the middle of the golem's torso with his staff. The golem's eyes lit up in response, reaffirming the contract between master and summon. "Follow me." Aided by the magic command and contract, the golem started to shrink so he could fit into the building. Soon he stood no bigger than a man, though there was no mistaking the creature of stone for human. The magic was simple enough, but Zander wanted more than simple magic. He needed access to more advanced spells and magical abilities. He needed to learn more, period. He needed a real teacher, and that all led back to the sum of most of his current problems. Money and the lack thereof. But at least as of today, I might be able to find something worth trading and put that worry behind me. Zander waited before moving, as he stopped to listen, hoping he wouldn't hear the telltale patter of feet that let him know Draugr would be coming. "We're good so far." He nodded at Rocktooth as he tried to open the rusted door to the stairwell. He had once learned the hard way on a previous raid that the ancients had relied on another manner to move about their buildings. Zander shuddered at the memory of the elevator, the square-like tomb that he'd almost gotten trapped in. He pushed the memory away to focus on the task at hand. The door didn't budge. He looked over at the door and imparted a message to Rocktooth. "I'm going to need you on this one. It's too much for me." The golem's eyes flashed green, and Zander smiled cautiously. "Here goes." He stepped back, and the golem walked over to the steel door. The golem sent a flurry of messages to Zander's mind, and he stifled a laugh. The golem turned to Zander, and when he nodded, it placed a heavy stone hand on the door and pushed it forward. A horrible scraping noise followed. The door, rusted from age, was torn off of its hinges and fell to the ground, making far too much noise. Zander expected the Draugr or worse creatures to swarm the area immediately, but heard nothing. "Maybe we'll be okay to keep searching." They waited, but nothing came for them from within the dark. "It's not too late to call this off, Zander." Zander shook his head. The golem knew his thoughts on the matter. Rocktooth went through first, and Zander followed behind. The light from his magic staff lit up the stairway, showing the stairwell went up for many floors and down just one. "I'll try down this time. I've struck out too many times heading up." Rocktooth led the way, and Zander followed behind, keeping his eyes peeled above them for signs of Draugr. They went down the stairs, and Rocktooth opened the door on the bottom floor, revealing what seemed to be a large kitchen. Something like this could have made enough food to feed my entire village. It shocked Zander to see. Many cans lay strewn about, having been ripped and torn open. Whatever they contained had long since turned to dust, at least for those cans that hadn't been opened yet.